Our headlines for tonight. The International Criminal Court Appeals Chamber anonymously rejects former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte's interim release bid. Former DPWH Bulacan Executive Henry Alcantara returns 110 million pesos cash in restitution. 100,000 workers in construction industry affected amid flood control mess. The Land Transportation Office ban e-bikes and e-trikes on main roads starting December 1, 2025. Consumers disagree over DTI announcement that 500 pesos is enough for Noche Buena meal. Good evening, bringing the latest news for tonight. I am KRIZZA Lopez and this is Eurotv News Thread. The details on our broadcast. Former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte will remain in detention after the International Criminal Court Appeals Chamber upheld pre-trial chambers once for a decision on rejecting his interim release request. In a ruling on Friday, the appeals chamber anonymously rejects the grounds presented by the defense appealing the reversal of the decision of Duterte's continued detention. In September, International Criminal Court Pretrial Chamber 1 rejected the two interim release requests submitted by FPRRD's camp. In the decision, the court argued that Duterte must remain in detention as his release may pose a risk and threat to the witnesses of the case, given his family and political influence. According to the appeal chamber, the defense failed to justify the grounds they appealed for Duterte's release. Duterte was not present in the ruling after he waived his presence and was represented by his lead defense counsel, Attorney Nicholas Kaufman. March of the present years, when Duterte was arrested and detained for crimes against humanity charges over alleged extrajudicial killings linked with his administration's war on drugs campaign. Former Bulacan District Engineer Henry Alcantara has turned over 110 million pesos to the DOJ as partial restitution for alleged kickbacks in the flood control scam, even as officials stress the payment does not guarantee immunity. Mia Layagin reports.
Since the flood control-related anomalies unfolded, the name of former Bulacan 1st District Engineer Henry Alcantara was among those initially tagged in the kickback and insertion allegations. From this modus involving some officials of the Department of Public Works and Highways and some lawmakers, ghost and substandard flood control projects were discovered, leading to much severe flooding situations. Amid the investigation, Alcantara have initially denied any involvement in the issue, as well as the accusations of being the mastermind behind this modus in their district. Soon after, he divulged what he knew about the issue, expressing willingness to help the government's investigation. On Friday, Alcantara via his lawyer turned over 110 million pesos cash before the Department of Justice as part of restitution. DOJ Acting Secretary Frederick Vida noted that this amount is just a part of the 300 million pesos Alcantara is set to return to the government. Vida said that this amount represents the kickbacks, commission, and money illegally obtained by Alcantara based on his sworn statements. Following the turnover of the cash, the representatives of Bureau of Treasury and Land Bank of the Philippines will validate the money. Vida, however, clarified that Alcantara's turnover of the money does not fully guarantee him of being absolved from the case nor being accepted as state witness. Alcantara remains detained at the Senate custody after he was cited in contempt by the Blue Ribbon Committee. On the other hand, details on other implicated individuals during the same measure remains unconfirmed. This is Mia Layagin for Eurotv News.
The MMDA has released its traffic and road closure plan for the November 30 trillion peso march, deploying over 2,400 personnel as it braces for heavy traffic around major protest sites in Metro Manila. Catherine Landicho has the story.
The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority or MMDA has released the road closure and traffic rerouting plan for the upcoming trillion peso march scheduled on Sunday, November 30. MMDA Chairman Attorney Don Artes said the agency is prepared to assist participants to ensure the peaceful conduct of the protests. He advised the public, particularly those who will not join the demonstration, to avoid affected areas to prevent inconvenience. Motorists are likewise urged to use alternative routes due to the expected heavy traffic in the vicinity of the protest sites. The MMDA is set to deploy more than 2,400 personnel for the anticipated large-scale rally at the People Power Monument in Luneta on November 30. This is Catherine Landicho for Eurotv News.
As the flood control scandal widened, Senator Win Gatchalian revealed that nearly 100,000 construction workers have lost their jobs, turning the corruption controversy into a full-blown labor crisis. Mia Layagin bring us the details.
Amid the ongoing investigation on the anomalous flood control projects, the public intensifies its call for justice to the most affected by this corruption, the victims of the severe floodings in the country. During the process, some companies and individuals implicated in the anomaly have had their license cancelled and were charged with related complaints. And amidst this mess, workers in the construction industry are also largely affected as they lost their jobs following the cancelled projects. Senator Win Gatchalian, sponsoring the Department of Labor and Employment's proposed 2026 budget, cited the agency's data where 100,000 workers were affected by the flood control scandal. He confirmed this during the Senate's deliberation of DOLE's 2026 budget following Senator KRIZZA Hontiveros' inquiry regarding the situation of displaced workers from implicated construction firms. On October, the cancellation of licenses of the top 15 contractors named by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. were already on the final stages. In response to this, DOLE remains in coordination with Contractors Association to help displaced workers.
Admittedly na mayroong slowdown in our construction industry at meron din ho silang mga temporary employment assistance dun sa mga temporary displaced na construction workers. Marami sa mga construction workers, mga ano ito hindi naman ho sila regular employees. Marami dito ay mga contractual employees. So meron silang mga temporary work assistance. And then meron rin po silang mga convergence program with TESDA insofar as reskilling and upskilling. No?
Gatchalian also encouraged construction firms and workers to contact and reach out to DOLE to address their needs and concerns. He noted that DOLE also seeks to increase the budget and the scope of the agency's job search programs to ensure that displaced workers will be able to get new working opportunities.
Meron pong ganun silang mga activities para ma-rechannel natin yung mga construction workers working in government. Baka merong available na trabaho sa private sector. No, kasi ang construction naman in the private sector hindi naman affected, tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang growth in the private sector. But at the same time, meron silang partnership with TESDA in terms of reskilling and upskilling. Ito, maganda rin to dahil baka in the meantime na wala silang trabaho, pwede silang magpa-certify, matuto ng other skills in the construction industry.
This is Mia Layagin for Eurotv News.
Dire curing frustration of suspected individuals fleeing abroad to avoid allegations highlights a systematic failure, as neither the Bureau of Immigration's ability to issue a travel lookout nor the cancellation of a Filipino fugitive's passport can ultimately prevent them from traveling between countries once they're outside the Philippines. Full details on this report.
From the cases in
involving Alice Guo to the country's ongoing corruption controversies, one issue appears to be a recurring problem. Suspects continue to leave the Philippines despite ongoing investigations. For many, escaping abroad has become a way to avoid allegations and questioning, delaying legal processes and hindering investigations. But even with cancelled Philippine passports, the Bureau of Immigration still cannot fully guarantee that these individuals can be stopped from leaving. According to immigration spokesperson Dana Sandoval, suspects may still transfer from one country to another even with a cancelled Philippine passport by using an international passport. One example is the case of Cassandra Ong. The Bureau of Immigration has yet to confirm if she actually managed to leave the country after she was released by Congress due to the transition from the 19th to 20th Congress. However, Sandoval stressed that no country should legally accept Ong because her Philippine passport has already been confiscated.
Walang bansa na tatanggap sa kanya if she doesn't have a passport. I mean, I'm just talking about our knowledge as immigration. I can't really answer about her case because she's a Filipino, so she's not under our jurisdiction. But talking about how immigration works worldwide, if she doesn't have a passport, she won't be able to transfer from one country to another.
Immigration is now looking into the possibility that Cassandra Ong and other individuals such as Saldi Ko involved in the flood control corruption case may be using other passports or aliases.
If, I mean, that could be a possibility. If she had a different passport, then maybe she would be able to transfer from one country to another. But what I recall is her Philippine passport was confiscated by an agency before.
Sandoval underscored the importance of issuing warrants of arrest. She explained that once a warrant is in effect, it becomes easier to apprehend individuals involved in criminal cases as they are officially considered fugitives, even if they possess other passports.
Let's not forget, if there is a warrant of arrest against her, kahit ano pang passport ang hawak niyan, wanted criminal na siya, considered fugitive from justice na siya. And through the warrant of arrest that will be coordinated by our law enforcement to Interpol, yun.
Amid the pursuit of accountability in the flood control project controversy, Saldi Ko remains one of the key personalities expected to face the investigation. Several of his alleged accomplices have already managed to leave the Philippines. This is KRIZZA LOPEZ for Eurotv News.
A major shift looms for e-bike and e-trike users as the LTO prepares to impound unregulated units on national roads beginning December 1, 2025. Due to this, e-vehicles worries towards their livelihood and disagree with the new regulation. Graciela Corazon has more.
The Land Transportation Office or LTO will implement the impounding of light electric vehicles or LEVs such as e-bikes and e-trikes passing by on major roads starting December 1, 2025. During the budget deliberation in the Senate, the implementation of the plan was discussed. As in the past, the number of light electric vehicles or e-bikes and e-trikes passing by on national roads was increased. According to Senator Raffy Tulfo, due to the increase of users and riders of e-bikes and e-trikes on the road, the number of accidents was increased and recorded because of them is also inevitable.
Marami na po akong natatanggap na reklamo tungkol sa e-bike. Sila na po ngayon ang hari ng kalsada, dati jeepney, ngayon ang e-bike na raw. Lumalala po yung problema sa e-bike. And itong mga nag-e-bike, of course, nagsasakay sila mga pasahero, walang mga lisensya. At of course, dahil hindi sila rehistrado sa LTO, wala din po silang mga insurance, third-party liability. So kapag sila po ay nakasagasa, then sorry na lang.
Senator Tulfo clarified that this is not against the user of e-bikes and e-trikes. In fact, this is what they do for livings for their daily lives. But they are required to go through to the process and legal documents just like motorcycles, tricycles, and others.
My residents, binilang ko yung e-bike na nadaanan ko, siguro may mga 50. Very prominent na sila ngayon. Kumbaga, natabunan nila yung tricycle Ang concern ko rin, itong mga tricycle drivers natin, tricycle operator, dumaan sa butas ng karayman halos kasi paparehistro sila ng tricycle nila, kukuha sila ng prangkisa, tapos magme-member sila ng TODA, kailangan meron silang insurance, tapos kailangan may driver's license sila and all. Samantala itong mga e-bike na mga operator, nada. Bibili silang e-bike, after that, pasada na sila, game na. So, nababawasan din ang kita nito mga legit na tricycle operators and drivers.
Senator J.B. Ejercito added that the LTO will study the plan to ban the use of national roads, especially in terms of safety, registrability, and obtaining licenses for them. Some drivers of e-bikes and e-trikes have expressed their concerns.
Mag-rally, maraming mag-ano ng hanap buhay kasi kaya tulad ng tuk-tuk. Marami yan, e-trike, marami rin yan. Mawawalang hanap buhay. Mas maganda yan, bigyan nila ng registro, permit, lisensya. Willing naman kami kumuha ng lisensya. Ang problema doon, may lisensya ka, wala kang registro, huli ka pa rin, wala kang permit.
Namin, anong po mangyari po sa amin?
Magnanakaw na lang kami. Naghahanap buhay kami ng marangal.
Naghahanap po buhay kami marangal, inuhuli naman kami. Anong dapat namin gagawin namin? Nanawag po kami sa mga taas-taasan sana, wag naman may gatuin hanap buhay namin. Dito kami kumukuha ng buhay sa pamilya namin.
Mahirap yun. Ngayon nga. Dahil sa tulad kong may nag-therapy anak.
Meanwhile, the House Committee on Public Accounts Chairman Representative Terry Ridon questioned its implementation, saying private LEVs are not required to register with the Department of Transportation or DOTR, Land Transportation Office or LTO, and other similar agencies, in accordance with the Electric Vehicle Industry Development Act or EVIDA law. He said the agency should first review the plan to impound LEVs so as to achieve full compliance with the EVIDA law. He also announced his plan to hear in the chamber the plan of transportation offices for its proper implementation. This is Graciela Corazon for Eurotv News.
Barely a month after taking over the Land Transportation Office or LTO, Assistant Secretary Marcos Lacanilao appeared before a Senate budget hearing where Senator Marcoleta firmly questioned whether his appointment was a political reward for facilitating the former president's trip to The Hague. Henry Nicolas has more.
Just over a month after his appointment as the Land Transportation Office or LTO Assistant Secretary Marcos Lacanilao appeared before the Senate hearing on the Transportation Department's 2026 proposed budget. Before his new appointment, he served as the Philippine Special Envoy for Transnational Crime after being designated by President Bongbong Marcos on August 10, 2024. Lacanilao was also one of those who accompanied former President Rodrigo Duterte to The Hague, Netherlands prior to his appointment to the LTO. In his background, this did not stop Senator Rodante Marcoleta from asking if the appointment to the new position was a reward.
Nang dahil ba kayo po ay inihatid nyo ang Pangulong Duterte sa The Hague? Ito po bang kabayaran, Mr. President? Ito po ba'y premyo? Kasi kailangan nating ma-disabuse po ang pagdududa ng mga kababayan natin. Hindi naman po kayo ang dapat na maghatid sa kanya ron eh.
Marcoleta insisted that accompanying the former president to The Hague 8 months ago was not Lacanilao's job. Marcoleta couldn't help but ask if Lacanilao was serving as the local counterpart of the Interpol during that time.
The PCTC is the Philippine Center for Transnational Crimes.
Apo.
Kaya hindi po totoo na sinasabi niya na he is on top of transnational crimes. Kayo po ay special envoy, but the local counterpart of the Interpol is the PCTC. It should have been the executive director of the PCTC who should have accompanied the former president, even if we assume that that was regular.
Lacanilao in response stated that he had complete documentation to prove that his presence in the Netherlands was official. Meanwhile, during the budget deliberation, the Senate has already approved the 189.3 billion pesos fund for the DOTR for 2026. This is Henry Nicolas for Eurotv News.
With less than 30 days before the Christmas, the consumers vehemently disagrees towards DTI's 500 peso Noche Buena meal, highlighting the current price of meat, vegetables, and other commodities. Here's my report.
Just 27 days before Christmas, the Department of Trade and Industry stated that a simple Noche Buena spread is possible with just 500 pesos. But is 500 pesos really enough for the family traditionally served? We went to the Visoria market to check the current prices of the staple ingredients on the Filipino Christmas table. At various stalls inside the Visoria, chicken is priced at 185 pesos per kilo, while pork is almost 300 pesos per kilo. Tomatoes now cost 90 pesos per kilo. A spaghetti package with sauce ranges from 120 pesos to 150 pesos depending on the brand. The staple holiday ham ranges from 170 pesos for lower price brands to 945 pesos for premium ones. But for many consumers, 500 pesos is simply not enough, even for modest holiday meal. Shoppers said that the cost of one spaghetti package plus ingredients and meat already exceeds the 500 pesos budget. Vivian, who provides for a family of 4, said that pork and chicken alone already cost her nearly 500 pesos.
Pero hindi kasya yung 500. Wala kang mga prutas, hindi pwede yun. Nakakalungkot.
Magkano ba ngayon ang nabili mong karne?
Ayan, 250 raw ang kilo. O di 1 kilo lang nabili ko.
Sa pamilya nyo, ilan kayo?
Kami, sabihin na natin meron kaming 6 na katao sa bahay. Sa 1 kilo lang ho, sa isang kainan kukulangin na ho yun kung kasama pa ho yung ibang rekado at saka yung mga ibang handa. Kaya manong ulam at kanin lang ang natin. Sa bigas pa lang na ho ang bigas ngayon, 50 na.
Sa maliit na pamilya, kasya yung 500 pwede mapagkasya. Pero pag marami yung anak mo, hindi mo mapapagkasya yung 500. Kasi sa mahal ng bilihin ngayon, sibuyas pa lang ngayon, nasa 200 na. Sa mga gulay pa lang, talong pa nga lang, 150 na. Paano magkakasya yung 500? Pang bili ng Noche Buena.
For Nene, being practical means being ready-made food from fast food chain for her family of 3.
Practical, pwede na sa fast food. Di ba? Kasi 3 lang naman kami. Pwede na kami sa fast food. Ganun lang. Pero yung 500 na yun, hindi pa rin yung sapat.
Consumers challenged the agency to personally try buying all ingredients, seasonings, meat, and staples to prepare a Noche Buena meal with the 500 budget. Because of Secretary Cristina Roque's statement, several progressive groups expressed disagreement. According to Kulusang Mayo Uno's Jerome Adonis, the pronouncement from DTI is an insult to Filipino workers who earn low wages. Lawmakers from the Makabayan bloc also criticized the DTI, saying the agency is detached from reality amid the continuing rise in prices. Secretary Roque later clarified that the 500 pesos estimate applies to families with 2 to 4 members following widespread criticism. KRIZZA LOPEZ for Eurotv News.
President Marcos has assured uninterrupted water supply for nearly 20 million residents as the government inaugurates Eurotv Tunnel 5 in Bulacan, boosting Metro Manila's daily water transport capacity to 8 billion liters. Vanessa Cleofas reports.
Nearly 20 million residents from Metro Manila, Bulacan, and parts of Cavite and Rizal are assured of a continuous water supply following the inauguration of Tunnel 5 of the Angat Water Transmission Improvement Project at the Bigte Basin in Barangay Bigte, Norsagaray, Bulacan, led by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. The 4.3-meter diameter, 6.43-kilometer tunnel can carry over 1.6 billion liters of water per day, increasing the previous transport capacity from 6 billion liters to 8 billion liters daily. According to the President, Tunnel 5 will now serve as additional support to the Umiray, Angat, Ipo, La Mesa system, helping strengthen water security for Metro Manila and Mega Manila.
Sabihin, mas maraming pamilya magkakaroon ng tuloy-tuloy at maaasahang supply ng tubig sa kanilang mga tahanan. May isasaayos ang mga datib ng tunnel dahil may backup ng pwedeng pagdaanan ng tubig. Yung mga tunnel po na sinira dahil kailangan na mag-maintenance, maaari na ngayon natin balikan ulit, baka may pag-asa pa, baka may rehab pa, para magamit pa rin natin.
In addition, the President said that the Tunnel 5 will also be helpful during the dry season, ensuring that the water supply will not be disrupted. Meanwhile, the project was completed through the Metropolitan Waterworks and Sewerage System or MWSS in partnership with the Common Purpose Facility, Maynilad and Manila Water. It can be recalled that the construction of Tunnel 5 began in 2022 and was completed in 2025. This is Vanessa Cleofas for Eurotv News.
Moreover, President Marcos brought national ID services and extensive livelihood assistance directly to indigenous communities in Zamboanga City as part of a government push to expand access to essential programs. Vanessa Cleofas returns with the details.
Ferdinand himself, together with various government agencies, delivered livelihood assistance and aid to the IP communities in Barangay Sinunok, Zamboanga City. This is part of the whole-of-government approach and the President's Assistance Program, which aims to bring government services closer to indigenous communities. Among the services provided were civil registry assistance, national ID registration under the Philippine Identification System or PhilSys, record updates and verification, and livelihood support. Support was also extended for medical and wellness services, labor and employment facilitation, and other needs of the IP communities. The Department of Social Welfare and Development or DSWD also distributed 10,000 pesos each to 500 eligible beneficiaries under the Assistance to Individuals in Crisis Situation or AICS program. In addition, grocery packs worth 3,000 pesos were provided to 71 families listed under the agency's Walang Gutom program, family food packs for 500 households, and sustainable livelihood program grants for 100 indigenous people. Meanwhile, the President also distributed 10 fishing boats to the Maasin Fisher Folk Association for residents living near the shoreline of Sinunok. This is Vanessa Cleofas for Eurotv News.
Police arrested 3 high-value targets in Pampanga and Nueva Ecija, seizing over 1 million peso worth of illegal drugs in separate buy-bust operations. More details from Shai Morales.
Authorities seized more than 1 million pesos worth of illegal drugs following the arrest of 3 high-value individuals in separate buy-bust operations in Angeles City, Pampanga and Nueva Ecija. 2 of the suspects were arrested along Arayat Boulevard in Barangay Pampang, Angeles City, Pampanga yesterday around 4 a.m. in the morning, and one of those apprehended was a Korean national. Confiscated from the suspects were 30 grams of ketamine, 100 ecstasy tablets, a bottle of liquid ecstasy, and marijuana vape products worth 351,300 pesos. Meanwhile, at around 8 in the evening on Wednesday, another suspect was captured in Talavera, Nueva Ecija. Recovered from the suspect was one sachet of shabu that was the subject of the transaction, while a protective search led to the discovery of 7 more sachets weighing a total of 110 grams, amounting to 748,000 pesos. The suspects are now under police custody and will face appropriate charges. This is Shai Morales reporting for Eurotv News.
Meanwhile, 2 Palestinian men who appeared to be surrendering were shot dead by Israeli forces in Jenin, prompting the Palestinian Authority to condemn the incident as a heinous execution, while Israel claims the men were wanted militants. Son Santiago with the report.
Israeli forces shot and killed 2 Palestinian men in the Israeli-occupied West Bank yesterday. A video caught on cam shows the 2 men exiting from a garage as Israeli troops surround them in West Bank's Jenin. Both lift their arms and shirts to show they are unarmed, then lie down in what appears to be a clear surrender. Moments later, soldiers direct the men back toward the entrance of the garage. As they crawled forward, multiple gunshots at close range directly hit the one man, apparently lifeless. The Palestinian Health Ministry identified the victims as 26-year-old Muntasir Abdullah and 37-year-old Youssef Asasa. The Palestinian Authority meanwhile condemned what they believe to be a heinous execution, describing it as a deliberate Israeli war crime. The authority also called the attention of the international community to take immediate action against Israel to stop their crime. On the other hand, the Israel Defense Forces or IDF and Israel Police released a joint statement confirming that forces opened fire, alleging them of wanted individuals committing terrorist activities. They said the men were involved in terror networks within their area but did not disclose any evidence on the allegations. However, they said the shooting is now under investigation to review the incident. The killings came amid a newly-wide Israeli counterterrorism operation in the West Bank on Wednesday. This is Son Santiago for Eurotv News.
Sue's Coffee Thunderbells barge into their first ever PBL finals after sweeping PLDT, powered by a dominant 30-point explosion for Ana De Veer. Kyle Basa has the sports news.
Zeus Coffee Thunderbells are now on their way to taste their first ever finals appearance in Premier Volleyball League after they beat PLDT high-speed hitters in their semifinals matchup last night, November 27. Ana De Veer wreaked havoc as she led the offense with 30 points. Alongside her is Chini Arroyo with 18 points, Thea Gagate and Alexa Minor with 11 points each. Zeus took the game just from the very start and ended with a sweep with the final scores of 25-22, 28-26, and 25-22. Zeus Thunderbells will face the Petrogas Angels in the finals this Sunday, November 30, at the Smart Araneta Coliseum. This is Kyle Basa reporting for Eurotv News.
And that's the latest news for tonight. You may visit yourtvph.com for more news and information. You can also catch our live broadcast live in social media accounts and via Pinoy Extreme Cable Channel. Once again, I am KRIZZA Lopez and this is your TV News Thread. Stay safe and have a good night, everyone. Happy weekend.